Now, I'm not here to say that I don't believe Pierre LeBrun, because I
Okay.
believe what he said to be, that Craig Conroy is working the phone, all that sort of thing.
Making calls.
I said this before. To me, there's two things that'll be happening. There'll be what
Right.
Craig Conroy is saying, and what Conroy is thinking or doing. I think you need to come out and say, yeah, we're looking at ways to get better. We want to get our offense going. We need to
Still early,
spark. I'm the
early.
GM. It's my job to help the coach. And sure, yeah. I don't think there's any trade coming. I think that I think he knows what he's got, and he knows what's in the offing this summer in terms of draft picks and lotteries and players and that. I don't see Craig Conroy spending assets to bring anything in here. Am I off?
No, I don't think you're off. It depends on the timing of when he makes a trade and the significance, obviously, of that trade. But I'll pull the insider curtain back. Anytime you hear one of us, and I include myself in this, say, oh, yeah, he's making calls, he's listening, he's being proactive, he's doing this. Well, what else would they be doing?
It's their job.
That is their job. So it doesn't matter if you're top of the National Hockey League or you're starving for offense. I mean, that's literally what you do. But then you have to look at where we're at in the regular season, and you're not getting anything of fair value that is going to help you now. Might be a short-term bump. And again, let's be specific here to what you're moving out to acquire the pieces. Literally, we're talking about Rasmus Andersson, and we're talking about now, based on speculation, Nazem Kadri. Andersson is more real for me for a number of different reasons. Nazem Kadri might develop into being more real, but right now the focus around him is, all right, well, let's get him past 1,000 games. Let's see where we're at the 20-game mark, and then maybe you have to reevaluate. There are managers out there, and there are so many teams, as we know, looking for a number 2 center. And now, because of the poor start of the Calgary Flames, you have every market that is in that world looking for a number 2 center, now trying to downplay the possibility of Nazem Kadri.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's be serious here for a moment. If Craig Conroy and Nazem Kadri and his camp decide that Calgary isn't the right fit, Calgary's going into a different direction, whenever that is, probably second half of the season, you don't think the Montreal Canadiens go down the list of all the teams that are looking for that 2C would be all over them? I mean, you can argue whether or not, he's rock solid in that, and how long he'll be rock solid as a 2C. We can have that discussion. But for any team that thinks they're in a contending conversation or on the cusp of being a contender, of course you're going to be interested in Kadri for a myriad of, and that's where it gets more interesting for me from Conroy's perspective and the Calgary Flames, because how are they going to do this? Is it a transition on the fly? Is that what they're hoping for? Is it a modified tank or whatever the market is reporting on? I can't remember the exact language used to describe what tank would look like. But I can tell you, fellas, I remember having this conversation with Mark Chipman a couple of years ago before Hellebuck and Scheifele extended long-term. And he went through an exhaustive process and talked to all the teams that went through a renovation or a rebuild. And specifically, one of them that jumped out is Detroit. And how long it takes to do it right. You guys tell me, you got a new building coming. Are the Flames an organization that can endure that sort of a rebuild, like 7-8+ years? I mean, some markets can't do it. Winnipeg couldn't do it. And
I don't
maybe
think
ownership in Calgary is going, no, we're not doing that.
You just brought up Montreal. Did Montreal rebuild, or did they retool on the fly?
They're in the final
Some
in
of this
COVID.
stuff is about how you sell it too, right? I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. The word you want. Here's where it's different than other spots. They're not a really old team with a bad prospect pipeline that's saying we have to tear it down. They've got a really strong system. They're just missing stars. Yes. And you're in a unique position where with the start they're off to, all of a sudden they are projected to be a bottom 5 team where you can go get an impact player. So how many veterans you cut loose versus keep, I suppose, is the debate.
Yeah. And that's a fair assessment. And I think internally that's where the struggle lies. And then timing too, right? Calgary as protection. Rasmus Anderson is equally complicated, but that's been out there for so long. How many teams can afford to tear apart their roster to give the assets less than 10 games? Nobody can do that, or nobody's willing to do that. So this is all about the fact that the Flames can't score and they're off to a bad start. And, we're looking at the possibilities. But it's fair to look, it's fair to speculate. But let's be honest on the timing of this. If there was something that Conroy could do that would fix this team or help this team, of course he'd do that. Every GM would do that. It's not real right now. So you have to look internally, and you got to expect the pieces that have delivered in the past to find a way to lead now.
Yeah. If there's a trade, he may be talking trade, but you got to be a seller. You're not buying.
Well, I can only think the only situation I can think of, Dino, is like, could you move out a 29-year-old forward and get a 20-year-old that's 13th on someone else's depth chart? Like, maybe. I don't think that's front burner at all. But if they're going to add, that's the only kind of adding they're doing in my mind.
Hey, buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.